Thank you. So if you could do me a favor, you could turn it upside down. And you can take notes right on the back of the page. So we'll come to the approach in a second. So if you could flip it over for me, please. So from a value standpoint, learning how to make calls for Cutco gets you appointments, makes you money, yada, yada, yada. Learning how to make phone calls for Cutco and mastering that, handling objections, getting appointments when people say they're busy, will take you very far in life, because business transactions, diagnoses in the medical field, agreements, professional style transactions occur how? Either live or over the phone, not through text, not through Instagram, Facebook, or Snapchat. So you're learning a skill that most people your generation, it's actually becoming a lost art, and it's actually proven, where the typical 18 to 22-year-old nowadays would rather text than call, right? And that's not a bad thing. It's just kind of how it is. And like, for example, my sister, she's 27. I called her the other day, didn't take my call. She texts back, "Hey, what's up?" Right? And that's unfortunately very common. But when you learn how to interact with adults and make phone calls, and how to take a schedule, help a customer find a time and be comfortable and firm it up, that's really important. My message is not so much about executing great phone time. My message is about how do you utilize a great approach. So one of the things I want you to write down, if I could customize a phone workshop, which we do have later on this summer, okay, there are 4 parts, 4 full hour-long messages we could run that have to do with success in getting appointments. Number 1 would be setup and execution. I'm just going to put setup and X. Setup and execution. There's a whole message I could give on how to set things up and execution. Second one is what I'm going to give you now. It's the approach. The approach. The third would be objections, right? So setup and execution, the actual approach, and then objections. And then the fourth would be anything related to more Mac customers to call. Similar to Taylor Max is more of a general message, which I love, and again, thank you, Team Max. But how to create an attack list, and some of you have heard that term already. Attack list. So for those of you that feel like, okay, I could really use help on creating more people on my list and Mac quality customers, make sure you get to my SLDM. That's something I'm really good at, and that's something I'll share with you. In fact, Taylor Max, it's funny watching you, because so much of your program, not for me to take credit, but I see a lot of the SLDM in your program. I see a lot of the drop the seat early. I see a lot of the qualify, and it just makes my heart sing to see how much you've grown there. Objections. Okay, if you take a look at your training manual, and you don't have to open yours if you don't have yours ready or available. It's really interesting, at least in our pilot, you take a look at the phone approach. Most of us, it's usually the same page. It's around page 24. Does this look familiar? So, and that first approach you learn, who's that used to call? Friends and family. Gear number 1, friends and family. People you're comfortable with. People when, is it Antoine? Okay, so Antoine calls me and pick up the phone. I'm like, Antoine, what's up? How's college? Okay, you want to talk to my wife? Hold on one second. Honey, it's Antoine. That's who you're calling with this approach. Friends and family. Your rapport should be easy. Probably just saw them that week. Okay? If you are using any other approach for any other person, it's incorrect. It's not matching up. It's like using a baseball mitt to play basketball. I'll let you think about that for a second. It's like wearing track cleats to play soccer. You could, it's a different grip. It's not the right grip. It's like taking a base. Okay, you guys know the analogy. So using the approach, the objections are at the bottom. Okay. Now, how many of you just had Advanced Training 1 or recently had Advanced Training 1? What approach did you learn then? If not, you should need to learn that ASAP. What approach? The acquaintance, good Antoine. The acquaintance approach, which in our book here, a little bit later on, which is page 29, aka the chicken list approach. All right, for people that you either know of or what? They know of you, or it's been a while. I'll say it again. They either know of you, you know of them, or it's just been a while. People that you're not as comfortable with, that's why we call it the chicken list. I can give you a whole talk on how to talk to those people. The objections talk, I don't have time for this, that's another workshop, but all your objections are either on your friends and family approach, or to the left of the acquaintance approach are all of the objections, okay? Just like the names and uses. Let me watch this. In Fort Lauderdale, let's show off for a little bit, okay? You guys know this. If you don't know this, I'll show you. I mean, I'm just kidding. Ready? Just like you know this. Fort Lauderdale, what's this knife for? For things up in the air. This is for what? It's for what? This is for what? This is for what?
Big things.
What's this for? What's this for? What's this for? Vegetable? What's this for? What's this for? Yeah, how often do you use this?
Every day.
Yeah, it's like routine, right? It's like routine. That's how the objections need to be. Mrs. Jones, oh, you know, honey, Andrew, we're just so busy. Oh, Mrs. Jones, I can appreciate you're really busy. I'm really busy too, trying to win the scholarship. And I want you to know I'd be willing to work as early as 6 a.m. to midnight just to make sure I see you. That's how pressed I am to have these goals. So if you could, I would love to try and see you tomorrow at 9 p.m. or earlier in the morning, the next day at 7. Which one works better for you? At clockwork, okay? And I know you probably don't have it to that point yet, and I don't expect that necessarily. But this is something worth reviewing, because practice makes what? No, perfect practice makes perfect. Okay? So I said this at the SLDM. If you want professional pay, you have to treat the job as a what? Like I'll say it again, everybody. If you want professional pay, you have to treat the job as a professional. And professionals know the scripts. Professionals know the playbook, if you will. Professionals know their pieces, if they're musicians, so forth. So that's my message here. I'm giving you like my quick 30-second tips for each one, okay? You want more Mac customers? You got to go to Mac people, and you have to, the term I use, you got to hustle to get names. You got to hustle to talk to mom and dad. If mom and dad gave you less than 10, you need to go back to mom and dad. The average mom and dad in the Cutco rep's life should give an average of 50 throughout a summer. They might start off with 2, like my mom. But I can tell you my mom probably generated anywhere between 50 to 100 new customers as I continue to keep asking, okay? So you got to keep asking. Objections, you got to know the sheets. You have to practice them so you feel confident. Because if you get an objection and you're busy trying to stumble and find the objection versus, oh, I know where that one is. I have it open. I'm going to read it. There's a difference in the response. Third thing, when it comes to setup, everyone knows this from the Inferno, and you guys all should know this if you've been here for more than 10 days. What's that? Focus 5. Raise your hand if you're familiar with Focus 5 or very confident in Focus 5. Raise your hand. Say aye, so I know. Raise your hand. If you understand what Focus 5 means, raise your hand. Say aye. Okay. So only 3 of you. I can tell everyone's here is new. Focus 5 is one of the most important things I can give you. This is my gift to you today. It's not even part of my message. Focus 5 is how a representative makes successful phone calls. Who started this Saturday? Who just started Saturday? All right, Corey, David, a couple of you. Okay. You'll learn this, but you're supposed to learn this tomorrow. That's why you don't know it. How many of you started before Saturday? You should know this. Okay, you should know this. If not, tell your manager I said so. Focus 5. And I need Luke and Kayla and Steven to help me out here. Okay? When you do phone time, just like having the right equipment, I've got a couple football players on my team. You got cleats, you got your hip pads, you got your shoulder pads, whatever you need. Everything has a purpose. There are 5 parts to and 5 components to a proper phone time. When you're sitting down, I know you're new and not on your way to Dirty 30 when? I don't see this. I know you're experienced and probably going to be a Dirty 30 at least contender and maybe AGL when I see this. Okay, it's you ever heard the term rookie move? Well, that's such a rookie move. Rookie move is this. Let me give you 3 rookie moves. And assistants, you can have. Here's a rookie move. Hey, Mrs. Jones, I'm calling. And by the way, is this person reading their approach? Yes or no? Yes. When I ask questions, I love when you respond. Okay, ready? So, if Mrs. Jones, am I reading the approach? Yes?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Is that good or bad? Good. That's good. What's not good about this rep making phone calls?
Walking around.
Okay, maybe no enthusiasm, but forget what I'm saying or how I'm saying it. But just by nature of design, assistant. What's wrong with this rep?
It's easy. You can't have it.
Yeah, there's not organization, right? Right? Anyone in the medical field, have family in the medical field, or know someone in the medical field, or watch someone on TV in the medical field? How about that? That was a joke too. This is a tough crowd, man. Okay, so watch. If your doctor's calling you to tell you about a diagnosis, I wouldn't want my doctor doing this. So anyway, yeah. So yeah, we got the test results back. I wanted to tell you about it. Am I right or am I absolutely right?
Absolutely.
I want my doctor to be here. I wanted to talk to you. We have good news and bad news. Okay, the bad news is that blah blah blah. I want a professional in a place where they can review the charts and sit down with me. Yeah, about that $1 million transaction. Yeah, I'd like to talk about that for a second. I mean, I want someone who's sitting down, attentive, and paying and focusing. Okay. Then you've got this rep, which I love, right? And this is what it looks like. They just have their approach. Hey, Mrs. Jones, and it's just the approach. Okay. From an assistant standpoint, what's so bad about that? When they just have they're sitting down, they're focused, but it's just the approach. What's wrong? Okay, what's wrong with that? Even before that, what's the first thing they need before the firm? You're right. Schedule. You don't have to schedule. So ready? This is what happens. I'm gonna pretend I'm sitting down. So Mrs. Jones, I could see you at Saturday at 4. Or you just lost confidence. You lost momentum. You're not gonna get that appointment. Versus, do you think it's any coincidence that the phone approach is next to the schedule when you first make calls the first day? Yet I have so many people that are doing this. Right? Like this. Mrs. Jones, so I wanted to know if I could see you at 4 o'clock after my training tomorrow, or would 6:30 be better for you? Be quiet. Okay. You gotta have focus 5. Assistants, what's in the center?
Right.
In the center. Yeah, like the phone approach. Whatever approach you need. Now here's the interesting thing. It's gonna be one of several, ready? It's either the friends and family approach or the acquaintance approach. Notice I did not put the recommendation approach. Who can tell me? Anyone that's not an assistant. How come I put friends and family or acquaintance? Acquaintance also is directory. Luke, could you please grab Ricky for me, please? I put down friends and family approach, acquaintance or directory approach, which all of you should know that, but I didn't put down recommendation approach. I put an X to that. If you're new, tell me why. Yeah. Right, you don't know them yet. You don't have proper training. What's an acquaintance? You know of them or they know what? Of you. That's not the case with a recommendation. No one here should be calling a pure recommendation for several weeks from now. If you feel like, man, Jeff, I really need to start calling recommendations, either A, you're not getting the help which we can give you to expand your list, or B, you're chicken. Or a combination of the both, of the two. Okay, everyone understand that? So what I'm going to teach you, my approach, is a combo. My approach works for all 3. My approach also works for this. Okay, my approach also works for this. But I'm just telling you right now, in order for you to start calling recommendations, talk to your manager. Here are the rules for reps. Okay? You have to have 100 or more recommendations to call. You have to have your closing, page 8 and 9, and your recommendations, page 15. And I'd like you to write that down, because if you feel like, and be honest, and this is not a bad thing if you raise your hand, who feels like, man, I really need to start calling recommendations? Go see your manager. I can't believe that you're raising your hand, not on our end, not your end. On our end, if you started within the last month, there's not even a reason. I didn't start calling pure recommendations for 2 months, and I sold $76,000 worth of Cutco. Now, are there unique situations? Absolutely. And if you're a unique situation, you should talk to your manager, and we work it out, if you're a unique situation. But if you are from Miami-Dade County, or Broward County, or Boca Raton, Florida, or the north part of Miami, you should not be calling recommendations. The only 2 exceptions I can even think of in this room, Vitor's from Brazil, Lakeisha's from Jamaica, right? And that will go very quickly, and there's a whole program for you guys, okay? Any questions? So I'll write this down. 100 plus recommendations, 8, 9, 15. Ricky, I want to promote consistent focus by what we promote to everyone. So I know.
I'm in charge.
No, I just want to make sure I'm promoting because
Alright.
different offices change. I want to make sure we're consistent. So approaches in the middle. If you understand what I'm saying, raise your hand out loud. Say yes.
Yes.
You understand? Okay. To the left.
Schedule.
This is your schedule. To the right.
Objections.
Top.
Firm up. That's
You get your phone approach, your firm up approach. We have firm ups? Please. Firm up approach, your attack list, your schedule, and your objections. Okay? So this is my 10-minute version of this hour talk. Thank you, sir.
You want the objections?
Sure. Managers don't have them. So I'm gonna give you the first one. I'm gonna give you the firm up. So I'm gonna give you a firm up right now. Okay. And then Luke, can I get your help up too, please? Actually, you know what? For the objections, page 28. Okay. Or if your training manual is different, it might not be. Nikki, what page is yours, young lady? Page 28, handling objections?
Yes.
Okay. So this is page 28 in your training manual. Okay. This should be on a schedule sheet from your manager. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Luke. Called an audible, and I uncalled it. Okay. So far, so good? Okay. So now, if you will, turn to the firm up for me, please. Who's familiar with the firm up? Raise your hand so I know. Okay. When do you do the firm up?
After you book your
After you book the appointment. This is like the icing on the top. Okay. For those of you that have never heard, or this is your first time learning about it, can anyone guess the appointment firm up, what the objective of the appointment firm up would be? Why would you have someone who's never learned this before? What would be the objective, Alberto? Minimize cancellations. Minimize, oops, I forgot. Minimize, honey, we just got really busy. All three are indication of the customer wasn't prepared or didn't understand how important it was to your schedule. Who's already had some cancellations, right? Or reschedules? Has anyone not had any? That's okay too. Has anyone not had any reschedules or cancellations? Okay. They will happen soon. It's a numbers game, but we want to minimize it. Okay. And there's nothing more frustrating than spending time on a phone call, setting up an appointment, going all the way out there, and they don't show up. Raise your hand if you can relate and say, aye, but like in a disgruntled voice. Say, aye, aye, aye. That's the worst. And that's going to happen. You know why? Because it's sales, and sales is a numbers game. But we can minimize that. Okay? This is not my message today, so I'm just going to give it a quick version. I'm going to read through it. So this is after they get the appointment. So who can role play with me? Kayla. So Miss Kayla, would 4 o'clock or 6 o'clock tomorrow be better for you?
6.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay. So Miss Kayla, thank you so much. You don't know how much this helps me out with the scholarship that I'm working towards. And Mrs. Jones didn't tell me where you live, so can I get some directions real quick?
Yes.
Okay. You ready? I want you to put a note next to directions. It says read them back. Read them back, make one mistake. Read them back, make one mistake. If you're new, raise your hand and guess why? To show your incompetence? No. David, you're brand new. Take a wild guess. Why do you make a mistake when you read it back? One mistake, just one.
Because if you make a mistake, they have to read back the entire address to you again.
Okay, it's to catch the customer. This is John, so I take a left on Log Trail Way. Oh, no, honey, or right. It's going to reemphasize in their mind you coming over, and it reemphasizes directions. Also, it indicates if they're taking you seriously. Let's say it's a right on Log Trail Way. Mr. Jones, you take a left on Log Trail Way. You know you've got an customer. I'll see you then. Can't wait to see you. So there's actually a Mrs. Jones. Hey, left or right on Log Trailway? Oh, sorry, honey, you're right. Hey, Mrs. Jones, you know, I just want to make, and there's a whole way you can approach that. That's part of this message. But it's also to make sure that they understand that you're definitely coming up. If you understand that point, raise your hand. You got it? Yeah? Okay. I for sure. One last thing. Write your question down. I'll come back to you during the break. One last thing. Can you grab a pen and some paper or your calendar so I can give you my confirmation number in case my manager calls? What does that create? A sense of what? Urgency and also officialdom. It's official. Okay, please write down my name. Got it. Day, okay. 4 o'clock, Miss Kayla. And my confirmation rep number is, you give them your 8-digit number. Okay, lastly, if you could put a big smiley face on it so you know who to look for when I come to the door. That's a joke to catch their attention. What I would say, word for word, I'd say, Mrs. Jones, can you put a big smiley face on it and make the eyes Asian because I'm Filipino. Right? And I always get a laugh, okay? Because laughter creates attention and awareness. Awareness creates secure appointment. And could you please put it under a magnet or somewhere that you will see it so you don't forget about it? And this is the kicker. You know, Mrs. Jones or Miss Kayla, I'm so sorry to have to, I'm so sorry to have you go through too much trouble. But the other day, I went all the way to Pembroke Pines, and the lady wasn't even there. And I know you wouldn't do that, but I also know that people are really busy, and I just want to make it as easy as possible. So thanks again for your help. You have no idea how much this helps me with the scholarship and that I'm working towards, and I can't wait to meet you Saturday at 4 o'clock. Thank you. Okay, a couple things you notice. You're saying the day and time like 6 times, aren't you? Mrs. Jones, can you write down my name, the day, the time, and at the very end, thank you again. I'll see you Saturday at 4. You always want to end with the day and the time. So Mrs. Jones, Miss Nikki, I'll see you then Saturday at 4. Thank you. Okay, bye. Saturday at 4. Okay. Okay. It's really important that you re-emphasize the day and the time. Day and the time. Why do I have them write it down? Because it's physical. It's active. It's active learning. They'll continue to write it down. I want them to put it up on the refrigerator. And then I apologize. Mr. Nakia, I know I'm having you go through a lot of things. But the other day, I went all the way down to Kendall in the middle of rush hour, and the customer wasn't even there. And I know you wouldn't do that. So what are we saying, basically? It's almost like, hey, it's really bad for me to have to drive, and someone just bailed on me, and I really would hope that you wouldn't do that. But in a nice, professional way. Okay? So I'm going to stop there for a second before I go into my approach. What's your biggest takeaway from the firm up? New peeps. Biggest takeaway, biggest light bulb. Go ahead. Yeah, repetition. Repetition is key because perfect practice makes perfect. Good. Thanks, Paul. What else? Other takeaways, Kevin? Yeah, you do now. Why are you with me? Good. Other things you've taken away before we get from the firm up. Professionalism. Ready? I know what some of you are thinking. It's the same thing I thought when I learned this. But that's going to add so much time to my phone, to the call. Raise your hand if you think, oh, that's going to make it a longer call. I'd rather have 4 to 5 minutes extra and actually go through. Right? I'd rather do it the right way the first time. That's really important, okay? So the firm up should be on the top. So far, so good? Okay. Let's talk about the approach for a second. And as you turn it over, angelic sounds from the heavens above. Right? Okay. This approach single-handedly earned me $26,000 in 3 months. This approach single-handedly earned me a scholarship to help pay for school and have one heck of a resume after my first summer. And this approach single-handedly changed my career and really my life in the summer of 1997. I also want you to know that this approach I learned and changed and created from SC1 in 1997. I went to SC1. I got this phone message from a guy named Rich Plaskin. Okay, Rich Plaskin is a division manager, Hall of Fame member. I remember listening to him, and I said, that's an awesome approach. He gave me this approach, and I went up to him and I said, well, I have some things and ideas. He goes, you know what? Put it down to paper, talk about it, email me. This was a guy who practically is a legend, is a legend still in the company. He said, yeah, here's my personal email address. He helped me work through it. I created this approach. My cancellations minimized, my appointments went up, and that next week I sold $18,000 in 6 days. 2 weeks later, okay? And thank goodness for this approach. Now, what I will say is the following. Number one, okay? You're not to call recommendations yet, even though this does have the ability to call recommendations, because if you venture into that too soon without coaching from your manager, I want to be very upfront and saying you could run out of recommendations and be done. If you call through recommendations too quickly, you're not good at it, you could run out of recommendations and your fuel, no more fuel. Like side of the road car, fast and not so furious. Okay, you see, that was better. Okay, there you go. Okay, my second thought on this is that I know some people like to tweak and change a little bit. I think innovation is awesome. If you feel like catering it to you is good, then please, by all means. However, get approval from your manager first. Walk it through, say, you know, I was wondering if maybe this part sounded better for me. I think that's great. That's how I created this one. But I got approval from a division manager, a district manager, and 2 people over $500,000 in sales at the time. For those of you that know Helen Brown helped me put this approach together. Okay? So far, so good? All right. So there are 3 parts to my phone approach. The first part is the attention grabber and the connection. And I'll write this down. So 3 parts. The JG approach, we call it. The connection. The connection. Second part is the why. And then the close, aka the offer. And then finally, firm up. Okay, so technically 4 parts then. Connection, the why, the close, and the firm up. So there are 2 types of people you're calling. Either friends and family or who? Acquaintances. So my job is to connect with that person in the beginning. So eyes up here. First one, it says, hello, may I please speak to Miss, and then first name. Does anyone know why we choose to use first name versus full name or last name? Go ahead, Antoine. Builds trust. Why else? It's personal.
Less intimidating.
It's less intimidating. When you hear, may I speak to Miss Alicia Gamboa? It's my mom. Miss Alicia Gamboa sounds like a telemarketer. When I hear, may I speak to Miss Gamboa? A little bit more respectful, not necessarily a telemarketer, but still, who is this? When I say, hi, speak to Miss Alicia, please, you sound like the kid next door. Right? Hi, Miss Nakia. Who's this? Versus, hi, Miss Nakia, your last name one more time. Brooks. Hi, Miss Nakia Brooks, please. Like if I'm her husband, who's this? Right, if I'm her, yes, can I help you? You guys see that? Can I speak to Miss Nakia? Like, yes, honey. And all the time, like I get 1 out of every 3 calls. Hi, is Miss Susan there? Yes, honey, who's this? They always say, yes, honey. Well, yes, sweetie, who's this? I'm like, connection, okay? So Miss So-and-so. I will say Susan Smith. Easier. Okay. Hi, may I speak to Miss Susan, please? I say, yes, this is she. Watch, I do it again, though. Is this Miss Susan? I want you to act as if because it was Miss Susan, indeed, you're going to win a $1,000 shopping spree for you. Right? So what we're trying to do is create excitement for the fact that it's her. For example, I'm going to call Miss Kayla, okay? This is Miss Susan, okay? Hi, hello, may I please speak to Miss Susan, please? Is this Miss Susan? Okay, so it's almost like, wow, I just won something. Because what you're trying to do is transfer a feeling of excitement that might not be present because you're talking to one heck of a very busy mom. You don't know that right now she's dealing with 3 kids running around, throwing toys at each other, and eating substances that might put them in the ER, which is, by the way, very typical of a Max morning. Okay, you might catch her when Johnny just came back with a bad report card and Dad's mad. You don't know how you caught them, but when I say, one more time, hi, Miss Kayla. Sorry, hello, may I please speak to Miss Kayla, please? Is this Miss Kayla? Right away, they'll follow your excitement. Is this Miss Kayla? Awesome. Hi, Miss Kayla. This is Jeff Gamboa. You would fill in your name. If you don't know that, we're in big trouble, right? There we go. There we go, crowd. There we go. I'm not sure if my name rings a bell, but so one more time. Hello, may I please speak to Miss Kayla, please? Is this Miss Kayla? Awesome. Miss Kayla, hi. This is Jeff Gamboa. I'm not sure if my name rings a bell, but so first of all, a couple of things you'll notice. Okay, so I start with the first name. I repeat it. Is this Miss Kayla with excitement to get who excited? To get the customer excited. Hi, awesome. This is Jeff Gamboa. You have to really emphasize and speak slower because on the phone things tend to get agitated in terms of pronunciation. You ever play the telephone game? If I whisper one thing to David, by the time it gets all the way back to Luke, it's completely messed up. Well, the phone, and actually this is true, the phone staggers and the tempo on the phone, once it goes from what you're saying to another phone line, is distorted by like 20 to 40%, I read somewhere. Okay. Have you ever been on the phone with someone and you guys pull up to the same place you're on the phone and you hear them talking to you, but it's on a delay and it's kind of strange and weird? You guys know what I'm talking about? Okay, that's what happens on the phone. Have you ever called the customer and said, oh, it's Cutco, have you heard of it before? And they go, oh, Costco? Petco? Geico? If you've heard Geico, raise your hand. If you heard Petco, Costco.
All three in one call.
Right, all three in one call. Wow. I can only imagine. Okay. Mrs. Jones. Hi, Miss Kayla. This is Jeff Gamboa. I'm not sure if my name rings a bell. And that is really important. Like, maybe they do know you. Sue Rambaran was my first chicken list call ever. Middle school church choir director. Hi, Miss Rambaran. I'm not sure if my name rings a bell. She goes, Jeff Gamboa. I remember you. I'm like, awesome, right? But I'm not sure if my name rings a bell, but okay. And then there's two versions. The first version, it says, I'm blank. Hey, how are you? Okay. This is when it's an acquaintance. Okay. Miss Kayla, I'm not sure if my name rings a bell, but I'm one of the kids from the church. Actually, I'm part of the youth group. How are you? I don't know. I don't know if you remember. We might have passed each other before. Okay, that's another acquaintance. Hi, Miss. I'm not sure if my name rings a bell, but I'm actually Cynthia Gamboa's older brother. Yeah, we come to all the games. My sister was a prolific soccer player in high school and college, so I just utilized every single soccer mom she played with. So I'm Cynthia Gamboa's oldest brother. You know how we always hang out? Yeah, the really loud family. That's us. Yes, with the cowbells. That's us. Yes, that's us. Okay. Or, and you can even write down next to that, acquaintance. Okay. Or you can say, hi, Miss Kayla. I'm not sure if my name rings a bell, but I'm a friend of Miss Susan, your neighbor. Did she mention that I was going to give you a call? She didn't? Oh, I'm sorry. That's for recommendations. You wouldn't call that. You wouldn't do that yet. But I want to give you a glimpse. Okay? So far, so good. Any questions? Notice and I'm almost done. You know, the point I want to make, I'm almost done. And I've spent most of my time on what section? Connection. If you don't get the connection, it doesn't matter what you say. If you don't get the connection, it doesn't matter what you say. But then you have an apprehensive caller who doesn't know who you are while you're calling, nor do they care at that point. Okay? So I'll do it one more time, and I'm going to go into the why. Hello, may I please speak to Miss Kayla, please? Is this Miss Kayla? Hi, Miss Kayla. This is Jeff Gamboa. I'm not sure if my name rings a bell, but I'm one of the kids from the youth group over at Sacred Heart Church. Yeah, I don't know if you remember at the 10 o'clock service. Yeah, that's with all my brothers and sisters. Yeah, you're friends with Miss Susan, right? Okay. What I try to do is throw as many you know who I knows. Right, and you know Miss Kayla, and you know Miss Jenkins from the kindergarten. Right, okay. I threw that in there. Also, how are you? busy summer, so on and forth. See what I'm doing there? Any questions so far? I'm going to stop. This connection is really important. Okay, my last tip on connection. This is more so for the gentlemen. Okay, so we have 4 young ladies in the audience. This is for everyone else. For my training, it's not what you say, it's how you say, but more importantly, actions speak louder than words. You have to, gentlemen, you have to up your pitch. Okay? Especially when you have a deep voice like this. Hi, Miss, you speak to Miss Susan, please. Who the hell is this? Right? Okay? Some of you have a deep, raise your hand if you feel like, okay, I have a pretty deep voice. Okay? That's okay, it doesn't hurt you, but you have to consciously raise it. So if you've been listening, pay attention, I raise my voice so I sound less intimidating like the kid next door. And I speak in a lot friendlier tone that's not going to create any agitation. Now, I don't talk like this normally, everybody. But if it's going to help me get a customer comfortable and do what? Connect, then I can talk like this all day long. Okay? Watch. Well, please speak to Miss Kayla, please. Hi, Miss Kayla. This is Jeff. Gring, gring. Hello, may I please speak to Miss Kayla, please? Is this Miss Kayla? Oh, hi, Miss Kayla. This is Jeff. Ready? And I remember in 1997, when I was making calls, I would be at my office, and people walk by and go, right? But those same people, I would go when I got my paycheck. Those same people, I would go when they had no appointments. I could go on and on. I'm getting a little defensive. I'm sorry. Okay? Because the key is conversation. I can just tell you, maybe a true story and how this applies to real life. We have a branch manager that's closing an office lease. And for the life of us, this landlord, this owner of this lease in the west coast of Florida is not returning calls. They're too busy, probably on the golf course. No offense, right? And they're not making our branch office a priority. Okay? And everyone's tried to talk to them, and they've just gotten this. The assistant is the gatekeeper, the personal assistant. If you know me, if you try to call me, you have to talk to Beth. If Beth doesn't let you talk to me, don't talk to me. That's how it works. So everyone's tried to call her, and I pick up the phone. I think it was Susan. Actually, it was Susan. How crazy, right? Hello, so Realty. Hi, can I speak to Susan, please? Yes, this is Jeff Gamboa at Vector Marketing. Oh, we've already talked. Susan, I'm so sorry. I can't. I put on my phone voice. Susan, I'm so sorry, and you know, probably you're so irritated. I'm not as irritating, and I'm better looking than those other 2 guys. She's like, a little laugh. Okay. I said, I'm not sure how they're speaking to you. It's probably really rude because you seem really defensive, and I'm so sorry they got to that point. So no matter what happens, on behalf of the company, I'm like, this is my voice. She put me right through the realtor after 2 weeks of not being able to talk to the person. She put me, let me give you, can I get, I'll give you his number. You know what? Let me just put you through to him. Lease was closed 30 minutes versus 2 weeks. Why? Because I had a connection, because my voice wasn't intimidating. You ever talk to customer service? Keep that in mind too, okay? One more time and we'll go forward. Ring, ring. Hi, may I please speak to Miss Kayla, please? Hi, is this Miss Kayla? Oh, hi, Miss Kayla. This is Jeff Gamboa. I'm not sure if my name rings a bell, but I'm one of the kids from the Sacred Heart Parish. I'm actually in the youth group. The after the 10 o'clock service. How's it going? How are you? And you have the 3 daughters, right? That's right. They came in one time. What am I doing? I'm building what? Building connection, building rapport. Good. Well, anyway, let's move on. Ready? So now we're on the why. Anyway, you're probably wondering why I'm calling. You see, I'm a student over at Broward College. I'm majoring in business, and what I'm doing for the summer is I'm working for this company where I get paid to get people's opinion on my presentation. What's great is that it helps me gain some resume experience, work on my one-on-one skills, and I get paid $15 just to show it to you, so you don't have to get anything. And most importantly, I can earn a scholarship. And since college isn't cheap, I'm really focused on this part of the program. The problem is an underlying problem. Your tone has to create a problem, and the problem is, right? And the problem, what? No, and the problem, see the difference? Voice inflection. And the problem is I need to get in 12 appointments this week, whatever the number is, in order to be on pace for my scholarship, underlying scholarship. From here on out, the #1 tip I can give you for your Cutco career, is that you don't do Cutco sales presentations. You do Cutco scholarship presentations. Everything is about scholarship. Anytime you say the word appointment, it should be preceded by the word scholarship. Mrs. Jones, I need to do 13 scholarship appointments to stay on pace for the scholarship. You know, I'm kind of in a bind right now. Tonight I have 3 openings for my scholarship appointments. Everything's scholarship. One more time. The problem is I need to get in 13 scholarship appointments this week in order to be on pace for my scholarship goal. I'm calling you because I need your help. You see, I need to get in 4 more scholarship appointments by Tuesday, and so far I only have 3 scholarship appointments. I'm shoving scholarship down the phone because I want it to be about the scholarship, not the cutlery. I want it to be about the scholarship, not the $15. Okay? And I know that you're really busy, and I know you have a lot going on. What am I trying to do there? I'm beating them to the punch because every Mac customer is going to say what? I'm really busy and I have a lot going on, a lot to do. If you call a customer that's a Mac and they say, oh, I have nothing going on. They are a Mac Plus, the husband works, and they can spend a lot of money because they're just home. That's the truth. No, that's the truth. If you have a real Mac customer, married, over 30, under 65, owns a home, and they say, oh, yeah, you have nothing going on. Those are typically the types of moms where they're not having to work and their kids are not at an age where it's hectic. So you know, it's one thing they're really good at? Shopping and cooking, both of which appeal to what we sell, okay? So, and I know that you're really busy, and I know you have a lot going on, but I was wondering if you could. That's for the acquaintance. You can write that next to, I was wondering if you could. That's for acquaintance. If it's for recommendation, you say the other one. I was wondering if you could squeeze, and I see it's bolded, squeeze. Anyone know why we emphasize squeeze? Yep, we have recognized that they're busy. Good. Number 2. Yeah, squeeze. I could squeeze it in. Squeeze in the quick workout. I could squeeze in the quick stop by there. Could you squeeze me in for a real quick scholarship appointment because I really, really need your help. So it's Saturday at 4 or would 6 o'clock be better for you? Because again, this really means a lot, and I appreciate it more than you can ever imagine. And at the end, I repeat the options. I actually didn't put it in here. ... 4 o'clock or 6 p.m. You might want to write that in. I'll say it again. So would Saturday at 4 or would 6 o'clock be better for you? Because again, this really means a lot to me, and I appreciate your help more than you can ever imagine. So 4 o'clock or would 6 o'clock be better? Shut up. Because you want to end on the options, right? You want to end on you asking the question, so they have to give you what? An answer. And the answer could be one of the times or an objection, which, no problem. You got it. One more time. So could you squeeze, I was wondering if you could squeeze me in for a real quick scholarship appointment because I really, really need your help. So would tomorrow at 4 or would Sunday at 5 be better for you? Because again, this really means a lot to me, and I appreciate your help more than you could ever imagine. Tomorrow at 4 or Sunday at 6? Wait. The best case, you get a time. Worst case, you get an objection. And I can't help you is not the worst case. I can't help you is just an objection. I'm too busy is just an objection. Even we're not interested is just an objection. The only thing that you can't say anything to is I hate you and I hate your product. But you don't get that. I hope you would never get that. Okay? And then you thank them profusely. In fact, you can actually cross out all that at the bottom. Cross all that out and just write down firm up really big at the bottom. We're not going to break. I'm just going to. Okay. So I'm going to stop there. Yes? No? Yes? Biggest light bulbs for you. Come on, give it to me. What's the biggest light with either a concept in the phone or approach apart, Dev? Voice. Yeah. When I was thinking dark voice, I was thinking, who's got the deepest? Oh, Devin. Yeah. Right? So, by the way, you're not going to get, your voice naturally isn't probably even going to come close to how high I can get it. Just I have a different voice than you. You probably won't sound like this. But Devin can go from this to this to this. And it might be a little bit, you have to think about it. But after a while, you don't have to think about it. Okay. Other takeaways, other big light bulbs. Go ahead, David.
Emphasizing the scholarship.
Yeah, you got to emphasize the scholarship. Real thing. Anytime you say the word, right here, a couple quick tips. Anytime you say the word appointment, say scholarship before. Anytime you say the word Cutco, say sets after. Anytime you say, right? Anytime you say the word appointment, say scholarship before. Anytime you say the word Cutco, say sets after. Okay? Other takeaways from the phone approach. Other takeaways. That bad or that good? Come on. Other takeaways or what's giving you confidence?
The connection, getting excited about it.
Yeah, you have to be excited for them. Okay, good.
Name dropping from the call.
You get a name drop from the call. What I love to do, and this is way more advanced, what I just gave you the simple version. I can talk 30 minutes on how to do this one paragraph. Mrs. Jones, or Miss Susan, I'm actually one of the kids from the church. How are you? Yeah, you know Miss Kettleberg, right? Okay, yeah. Also, I'm friends. My mom is on the board of the PTA, which so I'll just start dropping because I don't become the salesperson. I don't even become the person from church. I become the friend of a friend. And you can do that. Now, when you start seeing recommendations, you're going to drop whose name instead? The recommendation, but that takes a little bit more skill. Actually, a lot more skill. Okay? Other takeaways?
Sitting down, having your
Yeah. So in our office at the Inferno here, we have everyone phone gym in here, and you wonder, how do you fit everyone in here? Everyone has two desks facing each other, or two chairs facing each other. We call it the chair desk. Who's already done that before? Okay. But on the chair desk, everyone has their focus file. Okay, really important. Any questions? Okay, good. Let's do this. Before we bring up Andy, put your stuff down. We're not going to take a break. We're going to stretch for a second. I'm going to stand up real quick. Give me a 30-second stretch.